we're venturing into when you get to May. So the year of sports talk radio is very familiar to guys like me and Suke because, well, we do it every year. The ebbs and flows of the year of sports talk. December is always, it's kind of a throwaway in the radio biz because a lot of people are traveling. Everybody's off for the holidays, and it's just not your normal listening habits, generally speaking. But there's still a lot going on, obviously, in December with football. But February, after the Super Bowl, is low-key the worst time. But then you get into summer here, and when you start to get into May, we still have the playoffs going on, hockey, baseball, some big weekend. There's a lot going on. But we're kind of we're inching toward that time where we just, like we used to spin the wheel of grab ass. That's kind of where we're headed.
It's radio dog days, if you will.
Yeah, and it's fun. Some of the funnest times in radio are those kinds of shows. But that is not today. Damn it.
We're sporting hard.
God, we are. Somebody text the Vancouver Fort text line is 503-864-6326. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. VancouverFord.com. They said, you guys should now spend a segment dumping on OSU. I've grown to hate college football talk now. Hey, man, look, I feel you. I can't imagine how Oregon State fan feels listening to college football talk now. It's demoralizing. I get it. Dude, I don't even blame you. The one thing I would say, though, is be careful shooting the messenger, right? This has always been a thing with Beaver fan.
Well, I think it's a tough thing for sports in general, for sports fan in general. When you hear people saying the news about bad things happening, you assume those people are saying bad things about the team that you like, and that's not necessarily the case.
Right. It's like it's just, these are the circumstances.
Right.
And I get that you don't like listening to it anymore. I totally get that. At the same time, there's always been this with Beaver fan. I've felt this for years. There's always been this thing of, well, if you're going to talk about Oregon, you also have to talk about the Beavers and you have to say nice things. No. It don't have to. If there are nice things to say, we'll say them. If things are going well, we'll talk about it. If not, it's like people don't want to hear what's actually true. And generally speaking, particularly over the last, for many of the last 10 to 15 years, Oregon has just been, they've had a lot more good things going on than Oregon State. So
there's been a lot more positive to talk about.
Yeah, it's just like, don't shoot the messenger for pointing that out. I always said this with the Blazers, oh, you have to talk about the Blazers. Well, first of all, we don't have to talk about the Blazers unless they do something relevant or interesting that people want to hear about, which sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you think it is, we don't.
I also think we're happy to give out credit to the Beavers when they have it rolling. We've seen it before and we've done that before.
Well, of course,
plenty of times.
Exactly. But it's just there's this conflation of, well, you talked about the Ducks for a segment, now you have to talk about the Beavers, and there has to be all good. Well, there's not much good going on down there right now. I hate to tell you that. So, and I'm not going to spend a segment trashing them. Unfortunately, this is the worst part for Beaver fan. I hate, again, telling the truth. Don't shoot the messenger. The worst part for Beaver fan right now is that they're probably just not going to be talked about much, regardless of how they're doing. Because they just aren't that relevant.
They've been made less relevant by outside powers outside of their control.
Yeah, and I have long said this as the host of this program, that just because something is relevant does not, or just because something is local does not make it relevant. And the Blazers are relevant sometimes, and sometimes they're not. Right now, they're completely irrelevant. Unfortunately, Oregon State is in irrelevant territory. And that sucks. I hate that for them, but it is what it is. That's the way it is. We can't lie about it. So just, I get where Oregon State fans' heads at. It sucks. With you there. And it probably does suck to listen to college football talk, but don't beg for something that's not there. Because it's just not there.